everyone, welcome back to How to Get a Job in Consulting, the go-to place where you learn how to be authentic and successful in your consulting recruiting journey. Today we're going to answer one of the most common questions in consulting life. How many cases should I do to get ready for my interview? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back, and let's just get to it. We need to figure out how many cases do we need to do in order to be successful in the consulting recruiting journey. And I hate to give you the consultant answer, but it truly does depend. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging just with that. I am going to kind of break it down a little bit and let you know the kinds of things you need to consider to understand how many cases you need to do. If you just want a straight number, fine, 30. But honestly, you might need more, you might need less. Or have had some kind of career where you had to do a whole bunch of math in front of audiences, then maybe certain parts of the case are just going to naturally come easy to you. So it's more about trying to learn the mechanics and the style of casing. If that's the case, then you probably need less cases. If the idea of doing math problems in front of complete strangers gives you anxiety, then you might need to do a lot more cases because you need to kind of get into that flow and understand how to maintain composure when you are expected to calculate 1.5 billion times 26 or something like that. Don't worry, there are so many resources to help you kind of overcome that and stay organized so that you can knock those numbers out of the park as well. If English is your second language, or maybe you are in the United States for the very first time and you're interviewing for a firm for a position in the United States, then you might need to do more cases as well, just so you can understand some of the cultural aspects of the cases. I've cased many international students, and there are, certain things like gas stations aren't the same in India as they are in the United States. So if that sounds kind of familiar to you, you might just need to understand the way business works in the United States so that you can speak to this problem-solving elements in the case. That's okay. More cases, more repetition, more exposure to the industries that you may be cased on, exactly what you need in order to be successful in this process. To wrap it up, I think it's just really important to be honest with yourself and try to understand where you're at. Try to get some cases in with someone who knows what they're doing and take that feedback to heart. If you feel like you're a long way from being able to execute and smoothly deliver a great case performance, then you know that you're going to need to put more work in. What I will say is that quantity of cases will never trump the quality of casing. So it's really important that you use each case as something to learn from, and you take the time to analyze your performance and improve on your performance. If you're doing a whole bunch of cases back to back to back to back to back and not taking time to reflect and not taking time to internalize the feedback, then you're wasting your time. So take the time to reflect, do the cases that you need to be comfortable in order to deliver on interview day. Another question that goes hand in hand with this one is, how early should I start casing? And again, it depends, right? So if you are in the camp where you're gonna need to do 60 cases or something like that to get ready, then you may need to start earlier than others in order to have that quality reflection and time for analysis to prepare for your next case that you're practicing for. All in all, what we don't want to happen is we don't want you to be a casing robot, you have to be able to maintain some kind of flexibility, and we want you to be at your tip-top shape when it comes to interviewing. That means you have to be careful not to burn out. That's why no one really wants to give you an exact number of what you need to do to case, because it literally does depend. We don't want you to come into the interview knowing like, oh, cool, that's evaluation. You're going to do A, B, and C, and what's next? Because that's not, you think you killed the case, but you really didn't. You just told me what you memorized. At the same time, we don't want you to just be completely beaten down because you've done 98 cases and your interview happens to be your 99th case. You know, you have to make sure that you're maintaining a great sense of where your energy is and what the progress you need to do in order to move forward. So keep that in mind. Stamina is so important in this game because it's a long game and there are a lot of unexpected elements like anxiety, the anxiety of your peers, and all of that does weigh on you and it does affect your performance if you aren't ready and if you aren't doing what you need to do to shield against that. If anything, if you feel like you're weaker on your quantitative, start working on that now because you don't want that to be the thing that trips you up when it comes to prime time and your casing journey. If this video was helpful, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you know when the next video is coming down the pike. I will see you next time.